Good evening, guys, everyone. Okay. Other day, I was talking about what is persistence, the process of storing and managing data for a long time is called persistence. In Java, initially we have JDBC to have persistence. Later, Hibernate came. One is SQL style, whose persistence logic is database software dependent. Other one is OR mapping style, whose persistence logic is database software independent, right? Okay. In Spring and Springboard, we have a modules. We have a Spring JDBC module or Spring Boot JDBC module providing abstraction on plain JDBC, allows us to develop SQL queries based persistence logic in a simplified manner, but still SQL queries. That's why it is database software dependent only now, my dear. Come on. Other side, what we got, guys? Okay. Other side, what we got? Spring ORM, which provides abstraction on Hibernate, simplifies object-based persistence logic development. Come on. But now Spring ORM is also outdated. As alternate, what we got? Spring Data JPA. What is JPA? Advanced version of Spring ORM, which again provides abstraction on Hibernate, but simplifies persistence logic development more and more or not, guys? Okay. First of all, tell me, Spring Data is the main module. What mod? Spring Data is the main module. Data JPA, Data MongoDB, Data Cassandra, Data Neo4j, Data X, Data Y. Like this, lot of submodules are there or not there? Out of which we are going to study how many modules here? Two modules. Number one, Spring Data JPA for SQL database software interaction. Spring Data MongoDB to interact with what? NoSQL database software. One is to interact with the SQL database software. Other one is to interact with what? NoSQL database software. This is what we are focusing, my dear. Okay, guys. Different types of database software. One is SQL database. Okay, now today need of Spring Data module. See, I'm not talking about a Spring Data JPA. I'm talking about total Spring Data module, guys. This session is very important. Already we have JDBs. In Spring also we have Spring JDBC, Spring ORM. In without Spring we have JDBC Hibernate. When these many options are there, why we should learn this Spring Data module? Before that, we must understand different types of database softwares that are there in the market. Okay, then we will try to understand need of Spring Data module. But one thing is clear, Spring Data is the main module. In that one, 20 plus submodules are there or not there? In that 20 plus submodules are there or not there? Sometimes 30 plus. Spring Data is the main module name and it is having lots of submodules like Spring Data JPA for SQL database software, Spring Data MongoDB, Spring Data Cassandra, and etc. These are for what? NoSQL database softwares or not, guys? These are purely literally given for whom, guys? NoSQL data. Nearly total how many submodules are there? 30 plus submodules are there. Out of which we are going to learn how many submodules? One for Spring Data JPA for interacting with the SQL database software. Spring Data MongoDB to interact with what? NoSQL database software. Are you getting my point there, guys? Come on. So first of all, tell me how many types of database softwares are there? Two are there. One is SQL database software and is what? NoSQL database. You get the point there? I came minute. Room is 4 yeah, yes. No problem. Morning ఇబ్బంది అయితే. Now check. Now check. I hope it's good. Now it's good. Okay. Yeah. Today we are going to study about the need of Spring Data module. First of all, tell me how many types of database softwares are there? One is SQL, other one is what? No. Example for SQL database softwares are what? Oracle, MySQL, PostgreSQL. Example for NoSQL database softwares are what? MongoDB, Cassandra, Couchbase, Neo4j. Okay, when should I use a SQL database software? When should I use NoSQL database softwares, guys? If application data is having fixed schema, what schema, guys? Application data is having fixed schema, fixed structure, fixed attributes. Then prefer working with what? SQL database software. Employee max of 30 details. In any situation, maximum 30 details. Then you prefer working with what? SQL database software, fixed structure, fixed attribute. It is not dynamically growing, okay? It's not dynamically changing. In that situation, better to use what? SQL database software, right, my dear? Okay. Employee, max 30 details. Within those 30 details only, every time a lot of details will be gathered, guys. Okay, now the data is not having fixed schema, fixed attribute, fixed structure. It's a time to time changing, boss. Then prefer working with what? NoSQL database software. What, guys? Then prefer working with what? NoSQL database software. Are you getting my point there, guys? Okay, e-commerce, boss. Flipkart.com, Amazon. Product with 30 details, boss. Come on. Product, clothing product, 30 details, but the attributes are different. Electronic product, 40 details, attributes are different, right? Okay, in that situation, it's better to go for what? NoSQL database software. In that NoSQL database software, who is good? MongoDB is really good. Who is good, guys? MongoDB is really, really good or not, guys? Super. Okay. Fixed schema, fixed structure, SQL database software. Dynamically going structure, dynamic schema. Then go for what? MongoDB. Then think about take the support of what? MongoDB. Records in MongoDB will stored in the form of what? Document. Document 1 with 5 details. Document 2 with 10 details. Document 3 with what? 100 details. Document 4 with again what? 5 details. Everyone getting my point there or not there, guys? Super. Conclusion. Prefer storing data in SQL database software only when data is having fixed attributes and what? Fixed structure. Prefer storing data in NoSQL database software only when data is not having what? Fixed attributes and what? Fixed structure. Check it out. Employees of a department having fixed number of maximum attribute. Flipkart product details. Electronic product 10 different attribute, clothing product 20 different attributes, right? All these details can be stored in the form of what? JSON document in NoSQL database software, though they have different attributes. Are you getting my point there, guys? JSON docs are the docs that maintain information in the form of what? Key value pairs. Array, fixed structure, fixed attribute, SQL. Dynamically changing attributes, NoSQL. Okay. Need of Spring Data module, Spring Boot data module. Before arrival of this module, guys, before arrival of Spring Data module, what are the options that we have in Spring? Listen. If Spring application wants to interact with the SQL database software, we can work with the Spring JDBC. Come on, come on. I want you people to alert like anything. Wants to talk with what? Okay. Okay. Want to talk with again SQL database software. We have Spring ORM, but Spring JDBC in JDBC style. Spring ORM is what? OR mapping style or not, guys? Okay. If same Spring application wants to talk with the MongoDB, we have directly need to use MongoDB API. Cassandra, we directly need to use Cassandra API. Tell me, boss. Before arrival of Spring Data module, to talk with the SQL database software, separate APIs. To talk with the NoSQL database software, separate APIs. Right, my dear? To talk with the SQL database software, separate APIs. Similarly, to talk with the NoSQL database software, also we have separate APIs or not, guys? Okay, that means the way we work with what? SQL database software from Spring application is different. And then the way we work with what? NoSQL database software from Spring application also totally different. Agree with me, my dear? Come on, everyone. The way of writing persistence logic in Spring before arrival of Spring Data JPI is like working with multiple remotes to operate multiple devices in our home. Working with multiple devices, multiple remotes to operate multiple devices in our home, guys, right? After arrival of Spring Data module, okay, you can work with both SQL and NoSQL database software in a unified model. What model? It is like a universal remote now, boss. One universal remote can be used to operate any device in the home. Okay, now listen. Before arrival of Spring Data module, to talk with the SQL, separate modules. To talk with the NoSQL, no modules, direct RAR, original APIs we have to use. That means there is no unified model to interact with the SQL and NoSQL database software. Right, my dear? Super, guys. Okay, now tell me. After arrival of, what is that? After the arrival of Spring Data model, we have it is providing unified model to interact with both SQL and NoSQL database software. It is behaving like a universal remote or not, guys? It is behaving like a universal remote or not? I want reply, my dear. Super. Spring is not having any module to interact with NoSQL database software before arrival of Spring Data module. Before arrival of Spring Data module, there is no single unified mechanism to talk to both SQL and NoSQL database software from Spring. That means we need to use different APIs to interact with what? Different types of SQL and NoSQL database software. Okay, Spring Data provides what, guys? Single unified model to interact with what? SQL and NoSQL database software by providing lots of submodule. By simply literally providing lots of what? Submodule. Here is my Spring Data, right? Okay. This is my Spring Data providing abstraction on JPA and JDBC and allowing to interact with the SQL database software. Okay. And providing abstraction on MongoDB, CouchDB, Cassandra. Okay, a number of things. And providing abstraction to interact with the NoSQL database software or not, guys. Okay, it's something like this, guys. Before arrival of Spring Data module, to operate TV, TV remote, to operate home theater remote, to operate AC, AC remote, to operate fan, fan remote. So you need to know how to operate different remotes to operate different devices or not, guys. After arrival of what? Spring Data module. It's like a universal remote. Using one remote, we can operate using one remote, we can operate all the devices or not, guys? Or like a Alexa device. Using single Alexa device, we can operate all the components in our home or not, guys? We can happily operate all the components that are there in my home or not, guys? This is what we need to focus, guys. This is what we need to understand. Are you getting my point? Yeah. Spring Data module provides abstraction on multiple technologies and framework in, uh, to simplify the interaction with both SQL and NoSQL database software in the unified model environment. It is like universal remote. It is like what, guys? Universal remote. Perfect, my dear. It is like universal remote. Important submodules of Spring Data module. Spring Data JPA, Spring Data JDBC, Spring Data MongoDB. Nearly 30 plus submodules are given in Spring Data module for interacting with both SQL and NoSQL database software. Are you getting my point? If you are learning Spring Data JPA, then there is no need of learning what? Spring JDBC module, Spring module separately. Latest latest module to interact with what? SQL database softwares is what? Spring Data JPA. And in NoSQL, who is the best, guys? MongoDB. So we have a Spring Data MongoDB. Out of so many modules, we are going to learn two modules. One, Spring Data JPA to interact with the SQL database software, and Spring Data MongoDB to interact with what? MongoDB NoSQL database software. What is there, guys? MongoDB NoSQL database software. Okay, main submodules. So many are there. Spring Data JPA, Spring Data MongoDB. So many community modules. So many are there or not there, guys? Okay. As of now, we are learning. As of now, we are learning. Spring Data JPA to interact with SQL database software and Spring Data. What is there? MongoDB. Spring Data MongoDB to interact with MongoDB NoSQL database software. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Yes. Spring application uses Spring Data JPA. Spring application having OR mapping persistence logic. Internally uses what? Spring Data JPA. That internally uses what? Spring ORM. That internally uses what? JDBs. That internally uses what? JDBC driver. And that will talk to database software or not, guys? That's option number one. Okay, option number two. Spring application, Spring Boot application, JDBC style persistence logic, na my dear? Yeah, that uses what? Spring JDBC. That uses Spring JDBC plus ORM framework like Hibernate. That internal uses what? JDBC. That will talk to database software to JDBC driver. Okay, two possibilities are there. But this is not recommended. Working with the Spring Data JPA is recommended or not, guys? This is also outdated, guys. Industry as of now preferring working with what? Spring Data JPA for NoSQL database software, Spring Data MongoDB to talk with what? MongoDB. Sir, I have a question. JPA ORM. What is the link between these two things? JPA is the theory, ORM software is the practical implementation of that theory. JPA is the planning, ORM software is the practical implementation of that theory, boss. Convinced, my dear? Come on, everyone. Okay. What is JPA? It is software specification providing rules and guidelines to develop ORM software like Hibernates, Ibates, and etc. What is that, guys? Hibernates, Ibates, and what? Etc. Here is my what? Sun Microsystem or Oracle Corporation. Come on, guys. JPA is there. Java Persistence API. What is that, guys? Java Persistence API. Okay, that's great. Right. This is the specification. Hibernate, top link, Ibates. Are the implementation softwares of this or not, guys? Are the implementation softwares of this are not there, guys? Come on, everyone. What is the difference between ORM and JPA? OR mapping is a style of persistence logic development. For that one, programming, JPA provides rules and guidelines to vendor companies to create what? ORM framework software. JPA is the theory. ORM framework is the practical. JPA is the theory or what? Plan. ORM software is the real implementation software that is given based on the theory or not, guys? Super, guys. It's something like this. RBI, Reserve Bank of India, provides rules and guidelines for all the banking industry in the company, na boss. All banks in India should be operated according to rules and guidelines of RBI, my dear. Say something, my dear. I want reply. Okay, guys. Next. Troy is the organization in central government that provides rules and guidelines for all telecommunication providers in India or not, guys? They provide rules and guidelines for all telecommunication providers in India or not, guys? Okay, see. IRDA is like JPA. LIC, SBI Life, Tata AG, all these are insurance companies, na boss? They are like ORM softwares. They are like ORM software. ORM is concept of persistence logic development. JPA programming gives rules and guidelines for ORM persistence logic development. ORM frameworks are real softwares or tools that allows to implement ORM persistence logic according to JPA rules and guidelines. According to JPA rules and guidelines. Come on, guys. JPA is a theory, ORM framework is the practical. JPA is like course brochure. ORM framework is what? Faculties who are conducting classes according to course brochure or not, guys? So final conclusion is what, guys? If someone asks what is the difference between JPA and ORM, JPA is the planning or theory. ORM framework is the practical implementation of that planning. ORM framework is the practical implementation of that planning. Comfortable, my dear? Come on, everyone. Super, guys. Plain JDBC code, technology code, JDBC technology code, guys. Okay. Okay, I'm launching all possibilities of writing persistence logic in Java, guys. In Java, what are the options we have to write the persistence logic, guys? Okay. In Java, we have following possibilities to develop the logics. In Java, we have following possibilities to develop the logics. Okay. Number one, using plain JDBC, that is A. B, using Spring JDBC. C, using what is there? Plain Hibernate. D, using Spring ORM. E, we have Spring Data JPA. Working with Spring Data JPA is the best option or not, guys? In Java, we have following possibilities to develop the persistence logic. What logic, guys? We have following possibilities to develop persistence logic. Are you my statement? Following possibilities to develop the persistence logic. Persistence. Persistence logic. What data is what can I do? Now, okay. It's looking like weak signal or not for. Is it okay now? Yeah. Look at the plain JDBC. Load JDBC driver class. Establish the connection. Create statement object. Send and execute SQL query. Gather SQL query results and process them. Handle the exception. Perform transaction management. Close JDBC objects. Okay, now tell me, guys. Tell me. Total, some lines of code you have written in that. Can I say these are the common logics? These are the common logics. In the middle, whatever there, can I call them as application specific logics, my dear? Come on. In the middle, whatever there, can we call them as application specific logics or not, guys? Okay. Plain JDBC code, technology code, guys. But what's the problem with the plain JDBC? We need to write a lot of common logics along with application specific logic. This common logics code is called as what? Boilerplate code problem now, my dear. What problem, guys? Boilerplate code problem, right? Okay, leave it. Plain Hibernate code. Right now we don't know, but still I am telling. Create configuration object. Create session factory object. Create session object. Okay, all the three things together activates what? All the three things together activates what? Hibernate framework. Write persistence logic using session object and entity class object. This is my application specific logic, my dear. Perform and what factory objects. Are you my point? Here also have along with that applications classics also there, guys. So here can have plate code problem or not, guys. Recall someone. Net problem. Now check, guys. Now check. Now check. Now check. It should be okay now. Yeah. Plain JDBC, what is the problem we are having? Boilerplate code problem. Plain Hibernate also. Again, we are writing common logics and application specific logics. That means here also boilerplate code problem is there. Here also boilerplate code problem is there or not there, guys? I want reply from you people, guys. Everyone. Okay, that's great. Developer should write both common logics and application specific logic. That means boilerplate code problem is there or not there, guys? Okay, that's good. Spring ORM application, guys. Spring ORM application. Create Hibernate template class object that take care of common logics of Hibernate. Develop persistence logic using the objects of what? Entity class. Here boilerplate code problem gone or not going, guys? Come on, guys. Array, see, no boilerplate code problem. But one more problem is there. Now concentrate. Let us assume I have 500 tables. How many tables? 500 table. In each table, I am doing 5 persistence operation. Insert, update, delete. Okay, select operation for all records, select operation for single record. Okay. 500 tables means I will take 500 DAO classes. Come on. In each DAO class, 5 methods. Okay, see, 500 DAO classes, each class 5 method, 500 into 5. Okay, 2500 methods I have to write or not, guys? Maybe, listen, class to class, logic may change, data may change, but logic looks very, very similar or not, guys? The logic looks very much similar or not, guys? The logic looks very, very, very similar. What do you say, my dear? Come on. The logic looks very, very common or not? I want reply from you people. Come on. That's great, guys. Limitation with the Spring ORM module. What module? Okay. If project is having 500 DB table and we are looking to perform code operation on table, then we need to develop 500 DAO interfaces, 500 DAO IMPL classes, and 500 into 6 methods having what? Common persistence logic activities, plus lot of additional methods in each DAO IMPL class specific to project requirement. In each DAO IMPL class specific to project requirement. Are you getting my point there or not there? This is another kind of boilerplate code problem, guys. First boilerplate code problem is solved. But this is another problem or not, guys? The work what we are doing for one class, I should do for 500 classes now. The work what we are doing for one table, I should repeat for 500 tables now, my dear. Okay, guys. Now concentrate. The hero is coming into picture. Who is the hero? Spring Data JPA. What Spring Data JPA says, you know? Just take interface. You need not to develop implementation classes. They will be generated internally as dynamic classes. That means 500 tables means you have to create only 500 interfaces. For 500 implementation classes will come dynamically, having most commonly used persistence logic with respect to each table. Come on, guys. Problem is more simplified or not, guys? First boilerplate code anyhow not there because common logics are not common. All logics are taken care by whom? Framework only, right? Second boilerplate problem also not there. Why? Are we developing 500 implementation classes or only 500 interfaces? We are developing only 500 what? Interfaces. Is it not interesting, Babu? In my project having 500 tables, I take 500 interfaces. Each interface I point to one entity class, which is internally pointing to table. So for every table, I am creating one interface or not, guys? Total how many interfaces? Okay, where the logic will be there? 500 implementation classes will come dynamically and internally, right? Dynamically and what? Internally. Are you getting my point? Five hundred interfaces will come dynamically and what? Internally. The logics will come very much dynamically or not, guys? Super, guys. Advantages with what? Spring Data. Just create repository or DAO interface extending from predefined repository interface. Okay. And if needed, declare some custom method by following coding conventions. That's it. Total how many interfaces? 500. So we are ready with persistence logic. That means by declaring interface, persistence logics are ready. It is going to be more and more simplified version or not, guys? Advantages with the Spring Data JPA. Note. Now for 500 DB tables, we just need to take what? 500 custom repository interfaces having optional custom method declaration. Implementation classes for custom repository interfaces will be generated dynamically, providing persistence logic or common methods inherited from predefined interfaces, and also for custom method declaration. All these operations are taken care by Spring Data JPA internally by using in-memory proxy classes or not, guys? That means internally classes are generated. Their logics are what? Dynamically generated. Our problem is solved or not, guys? Our problem is very, very, very solid or not, guys? I want reply. Okay, now tell me, boss, which is good? 500 table, 500 interfaces is easy, yeah. 500 interfaces, DAO classes is easy, yeah. Now you realize why Spring ORM is bad. Spring Data JPA is picking up day to day, guys. Okay. But 500 interface you are declaring. Somewhere logics will come na. Okay, what are those? Where those logics will come? Internally generated classes. Those classes are technically called as what? In-memory proxy classes. Why they are called proxy classes? Proxy means temporarily. They are temporarily generated classes or not, guys? That's why they are called as what? Proxy classes. Why they are called in-memory? Where they are created in the JVM memory of the RAM. JVM memory of the RAM is called as what? In memory. That's why they are called in memory proxy classes or not, guys. Array .java .class file, what we are using daily, allocates memory in hard disk. But these temporary classes are created where? RAM memory level. Executed where? RAM. Vanished where? RAM. They are coming on permanent basis or temporary basis? Uh, Temporary, that's why they are called proxy. Temporary, that's why they are called as what? Proxy. They are created in the JVM memory of the RAM, that's why they are called as what? In-memory proxy classes. Array, so far we have seen compilation giving .class file. But here what's happening? Only interface we are giving, generating implementation class, compiling that, executing that, creating object for that. Everything happens dynamically in the JVM memory of the RAM or not, guys? Everything is happening dynamically in the JVM memory of the RAM or not, guys? You get the normal class. Java allocates memory in hard disk memory. Class file allocates memory in hard disk. JV loads the class file, creates the object. Come on, create the object, and the execution takes place or not, guys? I'm talking about normal. I'm talking about normal class, guys. Everything okay? Yeah, now listen. In-memory proxy class. We run the application. Class is created where? In the JVM memory of the RAM. At what time? Runtime. That class is loaded where? JVM memory. That class is compiled where? JVM memory. Object is created where? JVM memory. At the end of the application execution, class is vanished or not, guys? Here, nothing will be allocated in the hard disk memory. No physical .java, no physical .class. Everything happens dynamically at what time? Runtime. Everything is happening dynamically at what time, guys? Runtime. Okay, see this? Run the application. That's good. Okay. Source code, proxy class. Proxy class source code generated or not, guys? Where? JVM memory of the RAM. Source code is compiled or not, guys? Where? JVM memory of the RAM. JVM is loading that class or not, guys? Okay. Next. In the JVM memory, .class file executes or not, guys? Come on. Super, guys. Whatever output generated, that output goes at the end, some output will be generated. That output will be executed or not. I want reply, my dear. Come on, everyone. Here, proxy class related source code, compiled code will be vanished at the end of the application execution, now, my dear. Okay. See, in Spring Data JPA, for every table, how many interfaces you are going to take? One. Who develops that implementation class? Spring Data JPA. As what class? Proxy class. This proxy class is created where? Runtime. Where? JVM memory. Compiled where? JVM memory. Loaded where? JVM memory. Object created where? JVM mem. At the end of the application, that class will be vanished or not, guys? So that's the reason it is called in-memory proxy class or not, guys? The temporary class that looks like really class on temporary basis is called as what? Proxy class. The temporary class that looks like real class, the temporary period is called as what? Proxy class. Convince them, my dear. Come on, everyone. Spring Data DP uses proxy DP generate what? Implementation classes of programmers accepted DAO repository interfaces as what? In-memory proxy classes dynamically at runtime. That means while working with the Spring Data, persistence layer contains only DAO repository interfaces having few custom method declaration, because implementation classes will be generated at what time, guys? At time, as the proxy classes are not, guys. So ultimately, 100 tables, how many interfaces? 100 interface. For them, implementation classes will be generated dynamically at runtime or not, guys? The implementation classes will be generated dynamically at runtime or not, guys? Net problem. సిగ్నల్ డ్రాప్ అవుతుంది ఉన్నట్టు. Wait for 5 minutes. Expert has come to solve the problem. Am I audible now? Yeah. Now listen. Spring Data JPA. What is the story? How many tables I have? 500. How many interfaces? 500. Who writes the logics? Spring Data JPA. How? By generating 500 implementation classes as in-memory proxy class. What do you mean by in-memory proxy class? Class code generation, source code generation, compilation, loading of class, object creation, everything takes place dynamically at what time? Runtime. Everything takes place dynamically at what time? Are you getting my point there or not there? Super, boss. A typical DAO interface in Spring Data JPA looks like this. Public interface employee repo extends CRUD repository. This CRUD repository is a predefined repository having how many methods, guys? 12 methods. This is entity class name. This is a primary key property name. PK, primary key related property name. All the 12 methods are designed by using these two information. Okay, now tell me, these 12 methods, where these 12 methods are implemented, one dynamically generated in-memory proxy class will be created or not, guys? In that one, 12 methods are implemented. Having logic to perform code operations on database table. Having logic to perform code operations on database table or not, guys? Okay, this is what we need to focus, guys. Come on, everyone. PK column, primary key column, FK column. What is that? Foreign key column. Okay, this is entity class name pointing to table. This is integer. The property type of what? Okay, primary key field. One property will map it with one column. There will be one property pointing to PK column was. So that property name we are mentioning, that property type we are mentioning over here was. Okay, now tell me. For this interface, who develops the implementation class? Spring Data JPA. At what time? Runtime. Having logic for how many methods? 12 methods. In this 12 method, logics will be there with respect to which table? Logic will be there with respect to which table? Employee table. After all, I mentioned employee class, which is pointing to employee table. That means total burden is removed from you or not, guys? Sir, I'm not happy with the 12 methods. I want some custom logics. Then what should I do? Here you declare some method inside the interface by following some naming convention, coding convention. For that also logic will be generated dynamically. For that also logic will be generated dynamically. Online student, can you check the audio video? Online student, voice is not clear. Clear. All clear to me, sir. Now clear. Remaining people also please check. ఆ రూమ్ లో కూడా చేయి. కాదు, కేబుల్ లేదు అక్కడ. ఆ రూమ్ లో కూడా కేబుల్ లేదు. వైఫై నడుస్తుంది, వైఫై డ్రాప్ అయిపోతుంది ఆ రూమ్ లో కూడా. గుడ్, థ్యాంక్ యూ. I think now it's clear, my dear. Okay. Listen, guys. Like this, how many predefined interfaces are there? Multiple are there. Crude repository is having how many? 12 method. JPA repository 15. Paging and sorting repository 2. Mongo repository 4. Like this, multiple predefined interfaces are there. We take our interface, extending from predefined interface. We mention our table name and primary key type. All 12 method, 15 method, 20 method will be generated according to that table, according to that primary key. So that will happen dynamically at runtime or not. So overall burden on you is removed or not, guys? Overall burden on your brain is removed or not, guys? Say something, my dear. Got the point, my dear? I want reply, guys. So earlier, developing persistence logic mean 2 days, 3 days task, 10 days task. Why? Because you should sit and write the coding. But now what's happening? You're just declaring interface, giving just a table name and what? Primary key type. Remaining all logics are internally generated or not, guys? It's like more robotic or not, guys? It's more and more robotic or not, guys? It's a great feeling, my dear. Okay, guys. But class implementing interface, are you writing that class, guys? That is internally implemented. Now, what's your problem then? Are you against Tanmay Deshmukh? Are you worried about implementation of interfaces? If that is the case, in strategy design pattern also we implemented interfaces. Yes, na boss? What is the beauty? You are not writing implementation class. Someone is dynamically generating, and in that class methods are dynamically implemented according to the table and what identity property you have mentioned. That is very, very interesting over here. You must appreciate that part, my hierarchy of repository interfaces. What, guys? Hierarchy of repository interfaces in Spring Boot 2.x. What is that? In Spring Boot 2.x. This is my repository interface. Here what? CRUD repository. Under this paging and sorting repository, like this many repository interfaces are not there. Under this we have got JPA repository. Under this we have got what? Mongo repository. Again, problem. I am helpless, Babu. Now check it out. In 2.x, in 2.x, what is the topmost interface for all repository interfaces? Repository. This is empty interface, also called marker interface or not, guys? Empty interface, also called as what? Marker interface. Empty interface, also called as what? Marker interface. Extending that one, CRUD repository is there. Array, how can I solve you this problem, Babu? Call one. Will they allow us to complete today class or not? Huh? 5 minutes clear, 5 minutes not clear. What we can do, Ra? I think net the problem on there. In Spring Boot 3.x, the hierarchy is different, boss. What is the different hierarchy? A repository, okay, repository interface, CRUD repository, paging and sorting repository. Under this list CRUD repository, this side list paging and sorting repository. And JPA repository is extending from all these things now, boss. Even Mongo repository is also extending from. Okay, actually, whatever you missed, nothing, boss. I am giving repository interface hierarchy. Okay, in 2.x and 3.x. Right now, current version is what? 3.x. So that's why don't worry about 2.x version hierarchy. Worry about 3.x. This is the hierarchy of repository interfaces now, my dear. This is the simple definition hierarchy of 3.x or not, guys? Repository interface under this CRUD repository, under this paging and sorting repository, under this list CRUD, under this list paging and sorting repository, all this stuff. Okay, guys. We call repository paging and sorting CRUD repository. These are the common repository because they are common for both SQL and NoSQL database software. JPA repository is specific to what? SQL database software. Mongo repository is specific to what? NoSQL database software. Are you getting my point? JPA repository is specific to online students. Am I visible? Am I loud and clear? No, na? Okay. But if you observe, where they have gone? Present, okay. Yeah. See, guys, this CRUD repository is having how many methods? 12 methods. Paging and sorting repository, how many methods? 2 methods. JPA repository is having how many methods? 15 methods. But why all these things are extending from common repository interface? Yes, my dear? Okay, very simple, guys. They are wantedly doing it to tell that all these interfaces belongs to same type. They wantedly make all these interfaces coming from one empty interface to tell that they are coming from what? Same type. They belongs to same cult. They belongs to same type. Are you getting my point there, guys? Come on. Super, guys. Have a lot. Okay. All the all the repository interfaces in the Spring Data JPA, JPA extends from same type. Extends from what, guys? Same type. Extends from the empty repository interface. Empty repository interface to make to make all the repository interfaces as the same type or cult of interfaces. Same type or cult of interfaces. Yes, na boss? There should be some commonality na, to tell that these are same type or cult one and the same. Super, guys. I think you understood the need of Spring Data JPA more effectively here. You got the cluster clear clarity about Spring Data JPA. Let me summarize and let me ask a few questions. Okay. The people who got audio video problem, now you got a chance to revise the subject. Everyone listen carefully. Spring Data is having total how many submodules? 30 plus submodules are there. Total how many submodules, guys? 30. But in that one, which submodule is good for interacting with the SQL database software? Spring Data JPA. Which submodule is good to interact with MongoDB database software? Spring Data MongoDB. Sir, when SQL database softwares are there, why we should think about NoSQL database softwares? When SQL database softwares are there, why we should think about dealing with what? NoSQL database software. Are you getting my point there, guys? Come on, everyone. See, earlier, the data attributes are fixed. Come on. Data is not changing dynamically. Data structure is not changing dynamically. That's why no tension, boss. Come on. But nowadays, what's happening, guys? Data is changing dynamically. Attributes are changing dynamically. Come on. So for this reason, we need to think about dealing with what, guys? NoSQL database software. Before arrival of Spring Data module, we have modules in Spring only to interact with the SQL database software. Spring JDBC to talk with the SQL database software in JDBC style. Spring ORM to interact with what? SQL database software in ORM style, OR mapping style. Are there any modules in Spring to talk with MongoDB, Cassandra kind of thing? No. We need to use direct APIs now, boss. So that means the way we are talking to SQL is different. The way we are talking to NoSQL is different. There is no uniformity in the coding of database interaction. Come on, guys. It's like working with different remotes to operate different devices in my home na. 100 100 devices, 100 different remotes. No, I don't want like that. I want one universal remote to operate all my devices in the home or not, guys? I want to use one universal remote, guys. One universal remote. Okay. For that one, Spring Data Module has come now, boss. It provides unified model to interact with both SQL and NoSQL database software. That's why they have given submodule. Spring Data JPA, Spring Data MongoDB. By using them, we can interact with what? Both SQL and NoSQL database software in unified model or not, guys? Okay, fine. First, we have seen plain JDBC code. Boilerplate code is there now, boss. Plain Hibernate code. Boilerplate code problem is there. Spring JDBC, Spring ORM. Solving the boilerplate code problems. But still, are they popular? No. Why? Why Spring JDBC not popular? Still SQL queries based persistence logic database software dependent. Why Spring ORM is not popular? Object based persistence logic database software independent. No boilerplate code problem. But one more headache is there. What is the headache? 500 tables are there. 500 DAO interfaces, 500 DAO IMPL class. In each class, I should sit and write the business logics. I should sit and develop the persistence logic. Let us assume each class 10 methods I want to place, performing 10 persistence operation. So 500 into 10. Total how much? 5,000 methods we need to place or not, guys? Total how many methods we need to place, my dear? 5,000 methods we need to place or not, guys? I want reply, my dear. Come on, everyone. Array, in projects, they are using both databases. Okay, for unstructured data, SQL. For structured data, SQL. For unstructured data, no SQL. But when new comes, old should not disappear, boss. New may share the market of old. In projects, as of now, people are using what? Both SQL and NoSQL database softwares. Majority SQL, 40% NoSQL, 60% SQL. Right. What's the problem with the Spring ORM, guys? 500 tables means 500 DAO interface, 500 IMPL class. In 500 classes, 500 a lot of methods. So it is not boilerplate. It looks like similar to boilerplate code problem or not. It looks very much similar to boilerplate code problem or not, guys. Say something, my dear. I want reply, guys. Super, guys. Okay, now. Okay, who solves all these problems? Spring Data JPA. What JPA? How does it solve the problem? Spring Data module. Spring Data module. Okay. 500 tables means how many interfaces you have to take? 500. Who develops the implementation classes? Not you and me. Internally, they are generated. Having what logic? Persistence logic. So that means you are just ready with persistence logic with interface support or not, guys? No need of developing persistence logic separately or not, guys? So that is going to solve all our problems or not, my dear? Come on. Convinced with me or not, guys? Everyone understood my statement or not, guys? This is what. So no burden on the programmer. Everything is taken care by whom, guys? Spring Data JPA. Okay. Who develops the implementation classes? Spring Data JPA. As what? In-memory proxy classes. So that's the reason whole industry nowadays preferring working with what, guys? Spring Data JPA. Okay, boss. I'm winding up the session because today network is not good. Let them solve the problem at least for next class. At least for next class. Madhavi madam, still network problem for you? Check your side also network, my dears. Okay. Yes, my dear. Tomorrow we are going to develop our first Spring Data JPA application. No JDBC with, by just taking what this. Oh. See, guys, some people say network lagging, some people says it's good. Whom should I believe, Ra? Okay. Madhava Tanniru, what's your problem, Ra? From that time, symbol says symbol. Explain. Tell what's the problem. Network problem. Doubt in the subject. No common sense, nothing. 515 Spring Data JPA session 2. Yes. Session 1, session 2. Thank you. Have a nice time. Tomorrow when we meet, we develop our first Spring Data JPA application.